video is going to be about matter and material. By the end of the video, I would like you to be able to define or tell me what matter is, and I'd like you to tell me about the 7 properties of matter. I want you to be able to describe them, what they are, and what they mean. Okay? Okay, so let's get going. Matter is anything that takes up space or has mass. Okay, that's a nice way to remember it. Is take your hands, it takes up space and it has mass. Okay, what that means is if it takes up space, nothing else can exist in the same space it does. Okay, so if I put something down, it either has to push another form of matter out of the way, or it's going to rest on top of the matter. But the two forms of matter cannot exist in the same place. Okay, so it takes up space and it has mass. Okay, examples of matter: any gases, liquids, solids. Those are all examples of matter. Okay. So all I want you guys to take away is it takes up space and it has mass. Mass is another word for weight. Okay, so it takes up space, has mass. Yeah, just remember that. Nice dance move. Takes up space, has mass. Takes up space, has mass. Okay. I'm going to use the word matter and material interchangeably, kind of like the same word. There is a difference, but for now we can use them as the same word. We'll get into more detail about that later. All right, so that's matter. Now let's talk about physical properties. These are properties physical material has. Okay, so different materials have different physical properties, and we can use those physical properties to describe the material. Okay, there are 6 that we're going to focus on: strength of the material, the flexibility of the material, its boiling point, its melting point, its electrical conductivity, and its heat conductivity. Okay, so those are the 6 properties. I'm going to go into detail about each one of them, but I want you to understand what they do. Okay, we can take different materials. So here I have a piece of metal, a little piece of wire, and here I have a piece of spaghetti. Okay, we can use those 6 properties to compare these 2 materials and see how they're different and how they're similar. Okay, so let's first take a look at each one. Okay, over here we have strength and flexibility. Now they sound the same, but they're different. Okay, strength is how difficult it is to break the material. Flexibility, on the other hand, is how much the material bends without breaking. Now let's think about it this way. They're different because if you think about the wall behind me, okay, that wall has a huge amount of strength. So we can say it is a strong material, because if I push on it and push on it, I can't really break it. But if I do apply enough force, it's not going to bend over like a tree. It's just going to snap. Okay, so it has a huge amount of strength, but very little flexibility. Okay, so let's look at our piece of steel and our piece of spaghetti. Okay, now the steel is strong. I can't pull it apart. I'm not going to break it easily. So let's look at the spaghetti. If I pull the spaghetti, is already broken. So the spaghetti isn't very strong. It doesn't have a lot of strength. The steel does. Okay. Now let's look at flexibility. If I bend it, it flexes very easily. Not much problem there. Okay. The spaghetti, let's see. Boom. Not very flexible. Okay. So strength, steel has a huge amount of strength and it has a huge amount of flexibility. Spaghetti, very little on both of those. Now I have a rubber band, an elastic band. Okay. Let's see. Strength. It's actually stronger than I thought. Okay. I should probably pull it out here so you can see. Yes, that's quite strong. I'm impressed. Okay. High in strength, even higher than the steel in flexibility. I can bend it around, twist it. Look at that flexibility. Fantastic. Okay, so that's strength and flexibility. Then we're going to get to boiling point and melting point. Okay, now I'm going to read the definitions and then I'll explain what they mean. Boiling point, the temperature at which a material changes from a liquid to a gas. So basically when it starts boiling, turning from a liquid into a gas. A melting point is the temperature at which a material changes from a solid to a liquid. I'm going to talk more about boiling point in the next video, but right now I just want you to know that every material has a different boiling and melting point. Okay, so water has a boiling point of 100 degrees. No matter where you are, water should boil around about 100 degrees. It does change a little bit depending on altitude and air pressure and all of that. But boiling point is a set temperature for water. For ethanol, which is alcohol, it boils at a lower temperature. For lead, it boils at a much higher temperature. Every material out there has a boiling point and a melting point, and it's set. Okay, we'll talk more about them, but I don't want you to think it can have any temperature. Materials have set boiling points and set melting points. So steel would have a very high boiling point, or first it would be a melting point, because a melting point, it needs to turn from a solid, which it is here, to a liquid, okay? And then it would have an even higher boiling point where it turns from a liquid to a gas form of iron, which is pretty cool. If you can think of breathing in iron, that's how hot it is. But if you're breathing in something that hot, you've got other problems. Okay. Now the next two are electrical conductivity and heat conductivity. Now this is where these two can differ: spaghetti and steel, metal. Okay. If I had a nice hot fire and I stuck this in, holding it with my fingers, and I stuck that end in the fire, the heat would travel along very quickly and burn my fingers. Ooh, hot, hot, hot. Okay. If I took the spaghetti, on the other hand, and stuck it into the fire, I could hold it there for quite a while before the heat travels to my fingers. That means spaghetti has a low heat conductivity. It's very hard for heat to flow through it. Metal or steel has a very high heat conductivity. Then electrical conductivity is just the same. If I take this and I stick it into a plug socket, that's going to have a very, I'm going to get shocked, because electricity can flow through here easily. If I take the spaghetti and stick it into a plug socket, I'm not going to get shocked, because electricity can't flow through here very easily, okay? I'll share another video that you can do as extra fun, if you want, on electrical conductivity. But hopefully you're able to define what matter is, and you're able to describe the 6 physical properties. If you have any questions, email me, call me, comment any questions you have in Google Classroom. Okay, I'm happy to help them. We'll have a time at Google Meets where we talk about that. All right, boys, have a great day.